Hey Scorpio, thanks for visiting. This is your reading for January the 28th to February the 3rd. And as I always ask you, if you like this reading, please like, please subscribe, leave a comment if you would like to. You don't have to, only if you would like to, of course. And I've had some sound problems. Some people have been telling me they can't hear, other people have been telling me they can hear. I suspect it might be something to do with the connection between the camera, because I've got a new camera, and my microphone, something about that. So I've ordered a new one. Hopefully it'll come soon. It's not here yet. So until that time, I'm going to try and be as loud as I can, and hopefully you'll hear what I'm saying. So I'm not going to say any more about that. I know that's boring. I'm going to get right into your reading for Scorpio. So the first card you have for your past is the King of Cups. So yeah, I am seeing some turbulence, drama, something like that. I don't think any of this drama was happening inside of your head. I think this was happening around you. You didn't want it to be around you, but it was around you, I think. There was some kind of drama around you. I'm actually seeing two people, and I think they're in some kind of dispute or something like that. And I think two groups kind of formed around those two people. So there were kind of two opposing sides around two main people who had some kind of conflict. And I think you're probably hearing a lot of conflicting information from these two different sides. This king looks very conflicted, actually. If you look at his eyes, they seem to be moving from side to side. And he looks as if he's not sure where to look. He doesn't know which side to look. Will I believe this side? Will I believe that side? I don't know which one. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to sit here and my eyes are going to go backwards and forwards. I don't know. So it's that kind of thing I'm seeing in him. And he's also sitting in the middle of all these waves, this wavy sea, full of this emotional waves. But, you know, he's sitting still. He's trying to stay calm in the middle of all of this drama. So I think, you know, you didn't want to be a part of this drama. You didn't want to take sides. You didn't want to have anything to do with this. I think internally and privately you might have been thinking to yourself, oh, what is all this about? You might have been trying to make up your own mind about all of this. Who did what? Who said what? Who didn't say what? Or whatever it was. But I don't think any of this kind of information was adding up. Someone wasn't telling the truth in this. I don't think you were getting to the bottom of who it was. You definitely weren't asking people because you didn't want to be involved in the drama. It was just when you were by yourself that you might have been thinking, you know, I wonder what this is all about. I wonder what's really happening. But yeah, someone wasn't telling the truth. So when there are two sides and you have two completely different stories, either one of them's false or both of them are false. It can't be that both of them are true because one is contradicting the other. If they were both true, then they would both be the same. So, and I think this is what you're thinking. You're going, which one's true? Which one isn't? Maybe both of them have an element of truth in. Maybe both of them have an element of something that isn't true. I don't know. It was all confusing. And the truth was probably in the middle somewhere. But I'm actually seeing people calling other people, accusing people of doing things, saying things, and it was kind of going backwards and forwards, and it was really kind of escalating to the point where people might have even forgotten what the main point was about, actually. You know, things were going backwards, forwards, up and down like these waves, and I think you were doing your best to try to rise above all of this, a bit like this king. He's kind of rising up above all of these waves. I don't think this was a massive problem for you because you were making sure that it wasn't. You were trying to not get involved in this on purpose. And I don't think these people were around you all the time. I think some of them might have been trying to talk to you. Oh, did you hear this? Did you hear that? And you were just like, oh, I really don't want to talk about this. But it did come into your mind. You were trying to kind of sort it all out for yourself. I don't think you wanted it to be on your mind, but it did pop into your mind and you were trying to kind of think about all of this, but you weren't around it all the time, so it wasn't stressing you that much. It was just kind of around you. It was kind of in your energy. That's what I'm seeing there. So the next card you have for your past is the Eight of Cups. Obviously this is about walking away. I think you might have walked away, moved away from someone, or moved on from someone. I don't think this was at this time. I think this might have happened a while ago, actually, but I think this person that you moved away from might have been keeping an eye on you, watching you a bit, maybe on social media, maybe in some other way. There's a wall of cups in this card, and there's a little opening. It's like a little window in this wall, and we can see the man who's walking away through this window, through that opening where the third cup's supposed to be. So I think this is why they're showing up in this reading, even though you kind of walked away a long time ago or a while ago. I think they were sort of around, keeping an eye on you, watching you. Don't worry about this. I'm not seeing them coming back to bother you. I'm not seeing they'll do anything to you. They were just watching you a bit, and they probably still are. They're probably still around your energy now, watching you. But don't worry about this. But yeah, I think that you were probably the one who walked away, because they're the one watching you, obviously. So they're the one keeping an eye on you. You have to be the other person, the one walking away. And maybe you're pushed in some way, pushed away. I don't think they actually... I don't think they wanted to be the bad one or look like the bad one. I think they might have created a situation that got so bad that you felt like you had to leave. You were kind of forced to leave. They might have done so many bad things that you were just like, oh, I have to leave. I cannot be around this person anymore. And then they might have said something like, or they might have even thought or said to other people even, oh, they left me, poor me. But it was what they weren't telling anyone what happened before that. They made it so unbearable that you had to leave. It was a very sneaky way of doing things, so they didn't look like the bad person. That's what I'm seeing happened. You have a lot of sneakiness in your past, actually. But again, don't worry. If this is resonating with you, I'm not seeing this person coming back. They're not going to bother you. They're not going to say anything to you. But obviously, you're still on their mind because they're still watching you a bit. They're thinking, they might be looking at your social media. Are they with anyone? What have they done on the weekend? All of that kind of thing. So yes, the last card you have for your past is the 5 of Cups. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So yeah, I mean, they were quite terrible to you in the end. Sorry, cross watchers. I think it took you a long, long time to get over this. I mean, look at this man. He's just so lost. He's so sad. It took you a really long time. And I think in the beginning, even though you left them, I think you might have really wanted them back. I think you might have even done anything to have this person back in the early days. I think at one time you would have done anything to remove this pain that you were feeling. But I think once you realised that they weren't the answer to removing this pain that you had, then you're able to kind of lift your head up and see what you actually had around you. I think you might have also lost a few friends when you lost this person. You might have lost some mutual friends, or even some friends might have even taken sides. And I think you were hurt by that as well. I think you felt that there were some people around who you thought you could trust, and then it turned out that you couldn't actually trust those people. But you also had friends who were loyal. I mean, you had some friends who did stand by you. I mean, the man on this cup the cups have fallen over in front of him. He's lost those ones, but he has some behind him. He hasn't lost those. So, yeah, he's really feeling his pain. He's really feeling his grief, though. But I think, he's standing in a beautiful place. A beautiful, beautiful place, though. And I think this might sound a bit cringy, but maybe you're able to realise what you had and, appreciate what you actually had around you when you lifted up your head and you started coming out of the worst of this. That's what I'm seeing, because I am seeing a contrast. You went through the absolute worst. It was the absolute worst. Horrible heartbreak, sadness. You lost friends as well. And you're only seeing this, you're in the dark. You're covered in this cloak. That's all you're seeing. And then you lifted up your head and you saw actually around you, look what this man has around him, a castle. He has beautiful grass, he has a beautiful bridge, he has water in front of him, he has everything in front of him. And so you realised what you had, but I think you needed to go through that bad time to kind of contrast that with what you had, so you could kind of appreciate that. that sounds horrible, I know. It sounds like, oh, appreciate what you have, don't be sad. That's not what I mean, but I think you got through that, and that's how you were feeling. You kind of realised that you did have a lot of positivity around you, and you still had loyal friends around you. You had people who you could rely on around you. So the first card you have for your present is the Page of Cups. Yes. I think someone's wanting to talk to you in this card. I am seeing a friend. Don't worry, I'm not seeing this ex. Don't worry about that. I don't think this person wants to speak to you. I don't think they want to speak to you directly. I think they might actually be a little bit shy or even a little bit afraid to come out and speak to you face to face. Maybe this is one of these friends who you thought you lost in the Five of Cups. I think this person wants to make things up to you, actually. They might even want to apologise to you. I don't think they hurt you badly or anything like that, but I think they were someone who did not stand by you at this terrible time. And I think some things were said between you on both sides that obviously caused some kind of separation between you. But I think they do miss you. I do think they do want to speak to you. I think they do realise what they've done. They're a little bit cowardly, I should say, or afraid to speak to you face to face. I think they're going to want to either text you or message you in some way. So expect a text message. Expect some kind of message. If you haven't already received this message from this person, they want to reach out to you. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have for your present is the Three of Cups. So yeah, again, this is about friends, obviously. I'm seeing, this is about friends having a party, enjoying their time together. So I think you probably will end up connecting with this friend. I think they will reach out to you. I think at least you'll start talking to them on some level again. You might not be fantastic friends with them straight away, but I think you will talk to them, at least talk about what happened, at least kind of try to clear the air with this person. And I think that eventually, I think you will connect with or reconnect with some other people, some other friends who you haven't seen for a while through this person. But yeah, again, I don't think it's going to start off being all happy and dancing and parties like in this card. I think it's going to take time before you even want to talk to them at all, let alone have any fun with these people. It's going to take you a long time to open up or trust any of these people. And there might even be some people who you decide not to open up to at all, not to trust at all, or even not to have any relationship with at all. I think your decisions are going to depend on the way these people behaved in the past. I think you're going to be looking back. It might be a bit painful to look back on all these things, but you're going to have to do that to kind of reassess all of these different people. And I think you're also going to be looking at their behaviour now and whether they realise what's happened, what they've done, whether they acknowledge that, whether they want to apologise to you, how their behaviour is now, whether they've changed or how they view you, whether they have respect for you. And again, I think this might go both ways as well, because I think things were said on both sides. I think you're going to have to address a lot of things with all of these different people, maybe individually, and they're going to have to talk to you as well and address some things before anyone moves forward. You've got a lot to get through before you even decide to do that. That's what I'm seeing. The last card you have for your future is the Seven of Wands. So yeah, I think what happened was that you felt a little bit ganged up on by some of these people. And this is why you want to take things really slowly and carefully with these people. You just don't want to feel like that ever again. I think you remember this feeling of ganged up on and then abandoned. It's the most horrible thing. You feel like you have a lot of people around you who you can trust, and then suddenly in the next second you can't trust them. And then of course also on top of that, you're going through this breakup. So is that what you need when you're going through that already? No. So It was really hard. If this is all resonating with you, this is what I'm seeing. So I think that's why you're being careful, because if there's any hint of anything like this ever happening again, you start to feel like that again at all in any way, I think you'll be out. You'll be saying, I'm out of this. You're a lot stricter with who you'll have around you and who you won't at this time. And it sounds horrible. It sounds like, oh, you went through this horrible thing, you lost all these friends and you lost this partner and it's really sad and na. But this is good for you, because you will not tolerate any bad things. You won't tolerate any rubbish around you, and you're a lot stronger. So I think if you do become friends with any of these people again, it's going to be a completely different type of relationship. I think you'll keep on monitoring the situation if you do end up friends with these people. The other thing is, you do have other friends as well, because I was seeing that in the Five of Cups. You had people who did stand by you. So you have other people to rely on. So it's kind of a little bit like, I know that sounds harsh, but this sounds harsh, but it's kind of like a take it or leave it thing with these people. It's like, I can be friends with them, or I can just let them go, because I already have other good friends that stand by me, who stick with me no matter what. These people didn't do that. Yes, I'm ready to hear what they have to say. Yes, I'm ready. I know people make mistakes. That's okay. So I'm open to listening to them. But if anything at all happens where I'm not happy, I can leave it. I can say goodbye. That's the sort of thing I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have for your future is the Nine of Wands. So yeah, you might be starting to see someone, or you might already be in a relationship with someone. This is kind of something that's quite early, I think, or it's kind of just starting. It might be, I don't know. Or you both might be just very cautious with each other. Even if this isn't an actual relationship, there's a lot of caution around this, and even a bit of anxiousness around this. So I think you and this person have both been through some bad situations. I'm definitely seeing what yours was. And I think you both probably have a few trust issues, I think, if this is all resonating with you. I'm not seeing this person being dishonest. I don't think you have any reason to mistrust this person. And they don't you either, but I think they might be a bit cautious for you as well. You might be sensing that caution in them or seeing it, and that might be bothering you as well. So it's kind of like you're kind of mirroring each other, feeding off each other, if that makes sense. And I think subconsciously they might be judging this relationship, not you, but the relationship, by a past relationship that they've had. You might have even said something to them about this. You might have said something like, I'm not them, I'm me. Don't judge me by them, something like that. But I'm seeing that you're both cautious. I'm seeing this happening on both sides. So you might have to see this in yourself as well. Don't be frustrated with them. Look at yourself as well. You're mirroring each other. That's what I'm seeing. And I think this is just going to take time. Old memories of these old people, these old relationships, they're going to fade away eventually. They probably won't fade completely. You'll still have some memories of them, but they'll fade. They won't be completely, they won't be right in your face and in your mind all the time. And you're going to create new memories with this person, so they'll eventually take over the old ones. And I think just with this situation, if this is going to last, if this is going to move forward, you're both just going to have to be a little bit patient, a little bit gentle with each other, and this is just going to take time. This is just going to take time. That's all there is to it, if this is going to work. That's what I'm seeing with that. Just be very patient, because you're both coming out from behind this barrier, like this man on this card. The next card you have for your future is the King of Pentacles. So, yeah, if you are patient, if you work through this, things will become more steady. But it's going to take time. The King of Pentacles got to where he got to in time. He didn't get there by clicking his fingers. He worked very hard. So I think you're both going to have to work hard if you want stability. Neither of you want to hurt each other. I keep on seeing that. Neither of you are untrustworthy. It's just that you've both been hurt. But yeah, if you're both willing to be patient, put work and effort into this, it's going to work. Like the King of Pentacles, he gets what he wants, and you'll get what you want if you put the work in. I don't know if this person still has an ex around them, maybe not around them. By that I don't mean they're still interested in their ex. What I mean is that they might have some reason that they have to still be in contact with their ex. It might be that, it might be a practical reason. It might be that they have children with this person, or it might be some other reason. I don't know what. And I think every time they talk to this person or see them, it's like they're still reminded of them, and these old hurts come up to the surface again. So they're not missing them. Again, I have to say that because I think you might be a bit worried about that. They're not missing this person at all, but I think this what might be keeping some of this hurt alive for them. So just be aware of that as well. If this is resonating, just be gentle with them. Try, and I think they might have to work toward trying to keep contact with this person as a minimum. Sometimes it can help if you talk to someone just through email, so you can answer their emails when it suits you, not when they kind of leap up and talk to you. Or it might be that if they are having to see children through them, they might just have to really minimize their time talking to them. Pick up the children, drop them off, whatever, say hello, goodbye, that's all. Or any kind of practical things related to the children. But anything emotional, anything blaming, anything difficult, save that for email, because they really shouldn't be saying that in front of children anyway. So that might be something that they're going to have to deal with. You might want to encourage them to do that if this is something that is resonating with you. The last card you have for your future is the King of Wands. So yeah, you're a strong person, you really are. You've gotten through so much, you've been through so much in your life, and you'll get through this as well, I think. I'm actually seeing things I think things are going to be secure and solid for you in the future if you don't become impatient and let impatience rule you, a bit like this King of Wands. He's impatient, he's fiery, he wants to jump forward. Don't be impatient. You need to be impatient with them, and you need to be, not impatient, you need to be patient with them, and you need to be patient with yourself, and they need to be patient with you and themselves. So it's, being kind to yourself and the other person. And, the thing I see in this card is you're strong. You're strong in a crisis. You're strong in a fire. Where there's a fire, you have strength. I'm just looking at the salamanders on this card, these lizards that are all over this card. I'll just lift it up so you can see. There's one behind his head, and there's one just on the floor, kind of just next to his throne. And I think people used to think lizards were magical, that they grew out of fire, that they came out of fire, out of smoke. They used to see all this smoke, and the lizards would come out. I'll explain what I mean by that. What actually used to happen was that logs of wood would kind of sit outside, and then the salamanders and the lizards would obviously find shelter in the wood, in the kind of logs of wood, in the little cracks and everything, and they'd live in there. And then when it was winter time, people would bring the logs inside and put them on the fire, and they'd light a fire, and then of course the lizards there'd be lots of smoke, and the lizards would start to come out of the fire and the smoke because it was too hot, obviously. But then people would see them and they'd say, oh, these magical salamanders, they live out of the fire, they magically come out of the fire. The people used to think that. So that's why the legend of fire, magical things, and lizards and salamanders, all of that kind of thing, all of those myths kind of grew around that happening. And you always see salamanders or lizards in these wand cards, not in all of them, but you see them in a few of them. But yes, you don't want to know about that. That's kind of not anything to do with the reading. But yeah, this is showing me that, this is like a little warning, like, stay strong when you're in the fire, stay strong when you're going through problems with them, when you're having issues with them, when there's trust and all of that problem. Stay strong, keep going, keep working if this is what you want, and don't be impatient like this King of Wands. and you know, you'll be able to get through this. You'll be able to get through any of these fiery times, and you'll get to this stable position that I was seeing in the King of Pentacles. But yes, be patient, be understanding with each other, and you will get through this. I know I'm repetitive, I'm sorry, I'll stop there. So Scorpio, I hope this resonated. As you know, general readings can't always resonate with everyone. But again, if you like this reading, please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment if you would like to. Thank you so much for watching.